We are live.
Yay.
So good evening, everyone. With great pleasure, I welcome all of you to the 12th Foreign Grad webinar by a distinguished scholar, Ms. Pratishta Jain. From her, we will understand her journey from working in Tata Steel in India to the United Nations in USA. We will understand the complexities of application process and also understand different job opportunities in the United Nations. Today, I am moderating 𝒍𝒊𝒏. I am presently pursuing master degree from King's College London as a Chief New Scholar. So today's webinar is a part of new initiative called Scholar Series. For this series, we will be inviting different scholars from across the world to create awareness about scholarship applications, opportunities for young people among prospective applicants. So before I move ahead, I request all grad channel so that you don't miss the important information. So with this, I welcome Ms. Pratishta Jain on the Foreign Grad platform. Pratishta, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So nice to be here.
Thank you, Pratishta, for coming on the Foreign Grad platform. So, Pratishta, you have a very interesting journey. You worked in India, then you got admission in top 10 MBA college in the United States, and then you decided to work for United Nation. So, can you please share your journey with our viewers?
Of course. Yes. So, while growing up, I was one of those studious nerds into computer science and mathematics. So very naturally, I decided that I'm going to pursue engineering in information technology. And I worked in analytics for a year. But then there was also this side of me that wanted to explore the world of social impact, because I was born and raised into a family where my parents were very socially responsible. So my mom is into education, my dad is an animal rights activist, and my sister is into a lot of social activities that are for the betterment of society. And they all had this huge influence on me. And while growing up in school, I started this neighborhood project where we would go to the neighborhood societies and teach underprivileged kids. In my undergrad, I started this adult literacy program. And then even in my first job, I got into employee engagement. So very naturally, I thought, okay, computer science, fine, but maybe my role lies communications and social impact. So I did, and I started my job as corporate communicator in Tata Steel. Even there were a lot of corporate projects, but my interest lied in social responsibility. So I worked in the area of education and climate change and sexual harassment. And after 3 years, I thought, okay, I want to make an impact. And in order to make a big change, you also need to be business savvy. So I thought, okay, time for me to pursue another master's. I came to US for my MBA, and it was one of the obvious choices for me because of its name in marketing and analytics, and that's the two fields that I was pursuing. So I did that, and of course, moving to US was a big step for me. And ever since I was a little girl, I always had this dream that one day I want to work at the UN. So I came here and I thought maybe I'll give it a shot. So I started applying for all the internships, and yes, here I am. Luckily, things worked out. You're on mute.
Amazing story, Pratishta. So you worked in Tata Steel, you had a very successful journey. Then why you decided to do your second master's, and that too in MBA from United States rather than doing from India?
I did my first master's in public relations and advertising from India, from Indian Institute of Mass Communication in Delhi. And when I decided to do my MBA, I thought maybe I should get a global perspective, move to another country where I can work with people coming from different backgrounds and different walks of life, different cultural backgrounds and different geographies. And I thought that is one thing that will help me polish my people skill. Because in today's day and age, it's important to know how to work with different people, and that's how you get work done. So rather than the technical skills, which are obviously important, which everyone is good at, soft skills are also very important. So I thought this will give a new layer to my personality. I will learn so much more. And then, US is one of the most developed economies. They have amazing education programs. And I thought I'll get an opportunity to explore a new country as well. So I thought, okay, US was one of the top choices. And because of the job market here, like, it's great. And because UN has its headquarters here, so I could not go anywhere else. You're on mute.
I'm really sorry. With United Nations. So why did you want to work with United Nations rather than working for a big MNC, because you studied in an Kelly business school? So then leaving these corporate jobs, why you decided to work in United Nations?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. And I also asked myself, like all these years, I was like, okay, what do I exactly want to do? And, every time I would introspect, I would realize that I want to make an impact. Like, everyone wants to work hard, everyone wants to earn money, but at the end of the day, we all want to feel satisfied with our work life, with our personal life, and work life forms this huge element of our lives. Like, we work for 9 hours every day, right? And the 9 waking hours of our day go into our offices. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to spend so much time in my life working, I better work in an area that I really enjoy working in. And I always wanted to be happy with my work life. Like, I would always try to find new innovative ways to do my projects, to include more and more people. And the social impact element of my life has always been there because of my friends, my families, in the circumstances I was in, the things that I worked in, the extracurricular activities in school, in undergrad and postgrad. So United Nations is like the epitome of international development, right? So I thought, okay, this is it for me. I will give it a shot and see how things go. And luckily, in the role that I am currently, it's like a perfect amalgamation of whatever I have done so far. My background in analytics, journalism, and MBA, where I learned business analytics and marketing. So all of it combined is what I do currently. So I feel like maybe this journey was like that so that I could be here at this moment in time. I know how sometimes mystically things work out like that. Yeah. Does that answer your question? I know I blabber a lot.
Perfectly. So I have one more question related to your answers. That can you explain your job profile briefly to our viewers?
Of course. So the technical title of my profile is Associate Public Information Officer. I work in the News and Media Division at Department of Global Communications at the UN headquarters. And as a part of my my job entails a couple of things. It's like a profile where I have to work in partnerships and distribution of our content. I have to work with the radio team, record a few bytes. I also work on the analytics part, where we are trying to enhance our news platforms and all the products and offerings we have. And yeah, a couple of more things. So it's more in the area of news and media and communications, and also analytics. Like, that's a big part of my role.
Good. So, Pratishta, what is the process of approaching the United Nations job? Because if you see the internet or other platforms, people don't have this particular information how to approach United Nations for a job. So, can you explain the process of approaching the United Nations job?
Yes. So in the field of international development, one really needs to be very passionate about what they want to do and why they want to enter into this field. And there are a lot of internship opportunities. And that, I think, is a great starting point for anyone who wants to build a career here, right? And that's how I started. That's how most of my colleagues started. So either you work in the field, like you go to country missions, you go to different countries wherever UN has its missions, or you work as an intern or as a volunteer. United Nations has a program called UNV, which is United Nations Volunteers. So these are like the starting points for one to kind of enter into the system. So once you're there, then you figure out, okay, these are the different divisions. That's the work that they're doing. That is where there is the scope for me to fit in. That's what I offer. That's what they need. And then you find this match that, okay, this is the space where I can enter into. And then you talk to more and more people. Then you approach them. Like during my internship, in a span of 4 months, I reached out to more than 500 people. And I organized a lot of coffee chats. I met with them for walks, and I tried to really understand what is it that they do and how can I support them if I were to be there. So networking is very important. Like LinkedIn is a great platform to reach out to more and more people, and then geography is not a boundary. There are no bounds. You can reach out to anybody online. So that was one thing which I did relentlessly. I did not give up. Getting into the international development space is a bit difficult. It's not a very cliched or very traditional career path. So one needs to be really, relentless, as I said earlier. So that's what I did. I think Sankalp has a question.
Yeah, Pratishta, nice to know that you are working in the UN headquarters directly. But I have a question. Recently, India got the member status in the UN Council, and there are so many bilateral issues regarding India's, like recently with China, there was a tension at our territories and all those things. And also a long pending issue of biological and chemical warfares, BWC, CWC issues are there. So as a very young and very enthusiastic representation from India, how you feel, how the youth of pen glove mindset look on these existing problems? Thank you.
This question has a political angle to it, and I would not like to answer that. I would want
Oh,
to see the question about, people wanting to enter into this field and how to go about it. That's something that I don't want to enter into. Yeah. Is that
okay.
okay?
All right, it will work. No issues. I know your constraints also. No issues. Thank you.
Okay. So, Pratishta, we want to understand, like, is there any application process or say any essays or a statement of purpose when you apply for the United Nations job?
Yes. So
So, and
there's
how to
this,
approach these essays? Can you explain a little bit?
of course. Getting into United Nations is also very technical. Like in any organization that you apply to, there's this huge application form that one has to fill, and the statement of purpose. That's what that's the cover letter. It's really, really important to kind of explain the things that one has to offer for that job profile, and look at the job profile, look at specific points related to your background, and then kind of amalgamate everything into one page. So I think that's a very important step. And I don't believe in very long cover letters, because I have seen like nobody has the time to go through like 2 pages of content. It's best to have pointers, have quick pointers, and every pointer should be different. Like I have seen cover letters where people try to say the same thing in different ways, right? So one should be very clear and concise in what one has to offer, related to the background, related to the job profile that one is applying for. And I think that would do. I mean, of course, it takes time to polish one's cover letter, polish one's application. But yes, people do it all the time. People get into all these jobs all the time. So one should work hard on the cover letter. That's very important. Otherwise, yes, there is no resume application. Like the entire form is like a resume with all those tabs. Like in our resume, we write about our work experience. The application form will also have the similar options, right? So it has everything that one would want to show in their resume. So I think a very thorough application with everything that you want to talk about, everything relevant and everything related to the job is something one should keep in mind when applying for such roles.
Okay, so exactly what to include in the cover letter? Can you elaborate a little bit so that the viewer get an idea?
Right. You froze a bit there. You just want me to elaborate on the cover letter?
Yes,
That's,
that's
sorry,
what I was asking. That
yeah,
if
of course. So
what not to include in the cover letter. Yes,
that is also very important. What to include, what not to include. Yes.
exactly.
So first, let's talk about what to include, right? In the cover letter, one must talk about why one wants to enter into that particular field. So say if cover letter is for a job in, I won't say communications, I will say something which is different, right? Say something in peacekeeping, then one should mention about why, what is the exact reason one wants to enter into the area of peacekeeping. Now that can be a personal story, that can be something that they have done or seen, some experience, a very short description of that. And then it comes to the specifications, like the technical aspects of the job. Like even in the job, in the area of peacekeeping, if one needs to be, say, a manager or one needs to be, say, an IT professional, then how will that person's background appreciate, like that person's background help them or assist them in the job that they are applying for, right? So there can be skills, like there can be soft skills, like I'm good in dealing with clients, which means that I can work in partnerships, right? Or maybe I have studied these courses, or I have worked on some platform, say SaaS, in my previous job, which will help me in my future job, right? So just a few pointers on how their experience, technical skills and soft skills will help them in the role that they're applying for. And then, yes, I think that's the basic structure. Then here and there, people can add what they feel like, a little bit here and there, but that is something that should be there. One definitely should not talk about, their past in a very elaborate way or something. Like one doesn't need to explain about their job profiles of different organizations, the things that they've worked on in the past. That's not something a cover letter is about. It's about just the skills. What is it that you have to offer? What is it that you bring to the table? So yeah. You're on mute.
And if we have to say that what not to include, then where should be our focus?
What not to include is, yes, like I said, one should not talk about all their past job profiles and all their work experience.
Okay.
Something that is already mentioned in the entire firm or even in other organizations, not just in UN, but in other organizations in the field of international development. You upload your resume, right? It has all the background and all the details that they need. So in your cover letter, you should mention something that is not there. Like if I worked in communications earlier and I've mentioned about the projects that I worked on, they don't know that I'm good in client handling. And how did I do it? Because I was, talking to our partners in Southeast Asia. So, right, that's one particular thing which probably I did not mention in my resume, but I would want to highlight in my cover letter. So, just the skills part, I would say. And of course, the statement of interest in the top about why am I applying for this role and how does it fit in my larger plan, larger professional career plan. So I think that's very important.
So can you tell a very small question from one of the that what should be an ideal word limit for our cover letter when we apply in the United Nations?
Ideal word limit. I don't think there is an ideal word limit. As long as one is satisfied with what they are offering, that's the ideal word limit for them. But again, it should not be too long. Like, one page of a Word document, that should be more than enough, not more than that. But then there are people who like to, elaborate on a lot of things, and that might go beyond one page, and that's fine. Like, that's fine. As long as the message that you're trying to convey comes across and the message is relevant, it's fine. No strict rules about that. Sankalp, question?
Yeah, Pratishta, after knowing your background, the academic background you have undergone, what kind of amalgamation you had in your college days? You studied in UK, then you went to US, and you have done your graduation in Indian Institute of Mass Communication, and also you look so good and so confident in your soft skills. So, how you have made this balance in your growth as individual?
Okay. I didn't study in UK. I was in India and I moved to US in 2018.
Okay,
And I think while growing up, I've always been involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, like
great.
not into studies that much. It came very naturally to me. I think
Oh,
that, yeah, I would never study a lot, but I would always make sure that I'm into all extracurricular activities, whether it is sports, it's dramatics, or it is, essay writing and stuff like that. And I think that these kinds of competitions, and they really bring out a lot in your personality. They kind of there where you feel confident and you're talking to more and more people and you're putting yourself out there. Of course, initially it is difficult, and then there are other challenges and elements in your life, right? You have a family, you have something going on, some people have health issues, and there's so much to it, right? Which on surface nobody sees. But then the idea is to put yourself out there. Like, that's how I say it. So I watch a lot of videos online, motivational videos, and I read. And from whatever I've read in the past couple of months, like, I've improved on my reading, I've increased my reading because of quarantine, right? We have been home for the past 6-7 months. And I realized that that's what I've been doing all my life. I try to put myself out there. That's my key tagline. Like, if
so
you get
in
an opportunity,
summary, so to summarize, you shared that the passive learning was more decisive in your persona, which is reflecting now, instead of the active learning or the mainstream learning as our education system goes. If I can understand, Pratishta was more into extracurricular or the passive learning phase.
exactly, right. When you get an opportunity, and when you have an option to say yes or no to something, always say yes. Because if you don't like it, you can go back, right? If you have to go
Yes,
to a networking event, even if you don't feel like going, just go. You will get one
but
thing out of it, and if you don't like it, go back home. That's what I
but
did. Like,
but I have a question. This went fine with you, Pratishta, because you, by God's grace or by your luck, you got a very good receptive atmosphere in your family. But if you see the Indian families, they are more careeristic. They are very much focused after their K-12 or after class 12. They are totally into the certain goal-oriented careers. The liberty they are denied. So, do you feel ki your elevation as an individual, you can share with other viewers also, if I feel ki, because many family feels just focusing or just targeting certain careers is will not work in the near future. The world is going away from the set norms.
I'll share a personal story here with you. I did my engineering from a very good school in Delhi, and I got a very good job, a well paying job, and I was doing fine, but I didn't like it. And one day I thought that this is not how I want my professional life to be. And I was pretty young then, like, I didn't know too much. This was 7 years back, just 28. And I decided that I'm going to leave it. And I did not tell my family. I come from a very normal middle class family, where I've been told that the most important thing in life is to focus on career and get a good, stable, well paying job. And I was working in the booming IT industry. I still left it and I still went for communications, and I did my master's in advertising, which still is looked down upon. And a lot of people would come to me and ask me that, oh my God, like, why are you studying communications? Like, it has no future. And my parents have been very supportive. My family is very supportive. But at that time, even they were like taken aback. They were like, oh my God, are you sure about this? So I think taking risk in life is very important, right? And in India, of course, I understand, like, not everybody has the liberty to do it. Not everybody is equipped enough with all the resources to kind of take a risk. But I would still encourage everybody to kind of go for their dreams, because if like that's the right way to live, right?
Exactly.
And I'm very grateful for my family who always supported me in all the decisions I've made. It was actually, my dad was initially like, why are you getting into communications? But it was him who told me to apply into Indian Institute of Mass Communication. And he keeps encouraging me to write and to read more. So I think, yeah, and a lot has to do with, it has to do with personal will and that willpower.
So that's amazing, Pratishta. So we just want to understand that what are the different opportunities, different job opportunities in United Nations, and how the people come to know about different job opportunity there? Is there any website, or is there any particular news channel or somewhere where UN advertise their job opportunities? So can you tell to the viewer that what are the different job opportunities, and where, if they want to look for these job opportunities, where they can go and see what are the vacancies in the United Nations?
Of course. So, when we talk about UN, there's like this whole system, like there's this whole system of agencies. So I work at the UN headquarters, UN Secretariat, right? But in the area, there's UNDP, there is UNICEF, there's UN Women, there's UNEP, UNFCCC. Like there are so many organizations that come under the banner of UN. They are all UN sister agencies. And to get into a job at all these agencies, definitely one has to look at all the websites and everything. But one particular job portal that I absolutely loved was unjobs.com.
unjobs.com.
Okay. unjobs.com, or give me a minute, I'll tell you. Yes, it is unjobs.com, and one can go through the entire website, look at different agencies. So it's like a one-stop shop for all jobs related to UN and all the agencies. It has a filter for location, for the organization, for the industry, for closing soon, like for the deadlines as well. So it has this option of closing soon, so you can sort the jobs through their deadlines. And I think that is one of the job portals that I liked, but there are so many others, and one just needs to do a proper thorough research, because I maintained an Excel sheet. I had all these job opportunities with their deadlines, and I made a plan that, okay, every day I'm going to apply to 20 applications and then work on my work sample. And, every application would require a different cover letter. So to have a sample of, say, 10 cover letters for different profiles, that makes your work easy. But in order to make that, you need to do your homework properly, and, the due diligence is required. So yes, I think Google is the best resource. One needs to do proper research. UN Jobs is a very good platform. And otherwise, if you want to get into any particular organization, you should go to LinkedIn, reach out to people who are working in that organization, especially if you can find someone in the department of your interest. Have conversations with them and tell them that, hey, this is what I have to offer. If you need someone in future, please think of me. People think of you. They always think of you. And I was surprised so many people reached out to me, when they had something to offer, like, hey, I have this job on my website. How about you go and apply, since I know you are so interested? So I think networking is the key. And for online applications, Google has everything.
That's amazing information. Like one information you gave regarding UnitedNationsJobs.com, where definitely this is one portal where they will get information regarding all the United Nations jobs. And second, the point which you mentioned, that one should make a customized cover letter for different jobs. It should not be like that you made one cover letter and then you're putting in all job profile. So that's again a takeaway, that please make a different cover letter for a different job profile. And third, like you pointed out, that please reach to the people. They will never, maybe when you approach 10 people, definitely 5 to 6 people will reply your answer, reply your queries, and they are going to help you. So already Pratishta has explained the process of how to approach United Nations job. She explained uh, what is the way to enter, what are the job opportunities, where to look, how to apply. So I just want to ask last question. So any final tips for while applying in the United Nations jobs? Any final tips from you, Pratishta?
Pursue to persevere. Just don't give up. You know, Will Smith is a Hollywood actor, and there's this movie of him that I absolutely like. Like it's a good movie, Pursuit of Happiness, right? And in that movie, he tells his son that believe in your dreams and don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do it, right? So when nobody believes in you, believe in yourself, work hard for whatever you want. It's not just for a job, but the kind of life that you want, because you're supposed to have your dream life. That's how things should be, right? So work hard, believe in yourself, and don't forget to have fun along the way. That's the most important part. Keep enjoying.
That's amazing message you give to our viewers, that keep fighting, keep applying, and definitely one day you will succeed. So
Yes.
Pratishta, thank you so much for coming on our platform, explaining the United Nations job applications, how this job is different from the corporate jobs. So thank you so much for coming and educating viewers about United Nations jobs. So, and thank you so much for coming on the Foreign Grad platform to educate people about this particular opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was great interacting with you. My pleasure to be on the platform, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
keep
Thank you, Pratishta. Thank you, viewers, for your support. And next weekend, we will have another scholar who will be explaining a different university application process. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Thank you.
yes, enjoy the weekend. Bye.